Trying to decide whether to get lash extensions or a lift and tint? Well, maybe consider these pros and cons before you do. First off, I'll share a little bit of my eyelash history with y'all. So I have always had extremely long lashes. I don't know who I get them from, but I have always hated putting mascara on them. By the way, if you are a mascara user, Smashbox Full Exposure is my favorite. It makes your lashes nice and fluffy, full looking, and longer than you ever thought your lashes could look. Also, it isn't waterproof, which is something I love because waterproof mascaras always rip my lashes out. So, one day I picked up my friend to go shopping, and when she got in my car, I noticed her lashes looked particularly full, long, and luscious. Almost like she was wearing falsies, but not as fake looking. When I asked her, she told me they were eyelash extensions. These were something I had heard of, but never really considered until I saw how rad hers looked. I asked her where she went, and every time after that, I went along with her to get mine done at the same time. I always loved the way they looked after, but hated the way they looked when my lashes started to fall out. They became all gappy and sparse looking. This usually took just over a week to start happening, and after about 2 weeks, you're already ready for a fill. To get a full set of lashes, it's about an hour and a half process, depending on where you go, and it costs about $120, tip included or not included. Really depends on where you go and what type of lashes you want. A fill, the thing you get after about 2 weeks, costs around $65, $75, $85, honestly, depending on what kind of lashes you get and where you go. If you want the more glamorous ones, of course, they're going to be a little bit more. Whether getting them filled or put on entirely fresh, I would always feel glamorous and ready to hit the club. Just kidding, I actually don't remember the last time I stepped foot in a club, and I don't plan on doing that anytime soon. Anyway, one day, after about 2.5 years of consistently getting eyelash extensions, I booked a role on a TV show that I wasn't allowed to have my lashes for. So I went and had them removed, something I had never done before. And after doing so, I went home, put on some mascara, back to my old ways, and I was horrified with how short, sparse, and fragile looking my lashes looked. I know, first world problems. But my lashes had been destroyed, and I wasn't having any of it. So I went and spent $200 on something called Lattice that promises to grow your lashes incredibly long and thick, which it absolutely does. But that's a whole other story. After my lashes blossomed back into the pink hydrangeas that they are, I decided to try a lash lift and tint. So I called my lash girl, went in for an appointment, and came out feeling finer than ever. The process took about an hour and a half, but the lift and tint lasted about 5 weeks. Slightly more for me, actually. I think it depends on the person. It costs about the same having lash extensions, but it lasts a whole lot longer, so it equals less money and less time in the chair. They do not rip your eyelashes out. Actually, they enhance them if your lift and tint includes a keratin treatment as well, which I highly recommend. Depending on the look you like, though, the one thing I will say is that lash extensions will look a little fuller and more dramatic, whereas a lash lift and tint will give you a more natural look. Whichever you decide to do, don't forget the pros and cons of each option, because if you're an eyelash lover like me, you might have to say a sad farewell to your long, luscious, natural lashes for a while. I'm gonna get mine done tomorrow, my lift and tint, and I am so excited.